Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Spanner Man again here with another video. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Please subscribe to the channel. Any comments, thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Spanner Man again here with another video, a product review. This time I was in my local Bunnings hardware store, big huge warehouse Bunnings here in Australia. Walked past this Ozito mini chainsaw sharpener 12 volt. And I thought, I'll have a look at that. I've seen them there before, but never really picked them up and looked at them. I do have a Stihl Quick Sharp 12 volt. You put on your car battery, so this is exactly the same. I just picked it up and had a look at it, and I knew that the Stihl ran at about 14,000 RPM, and this says that it runs at 21,000 RPM. So I thought, oh, okay, and it's saying that it's 50 watts. I thought, oh, 50 watts is substantially much more powerful than the Quick Sharp, because the Quick Sharp's only about 10 watts. So I thought, well, that'd be interesting to see if it is actually 50 watts. So we'll check that out on my amp gauge. The only thing that's a little bit different, it's got this little fancy little winged attachment there that you can put on there. It's got all your angles, 25 degrees and 30 and 35 degrees. So it's got your most common angles that you would use. So I don't know. I haven't opened it yet. So we'll open it up and we'll check it all out and we'll get back to you. It comes with 3 stones. The stones are 4mm, 4.8 and 5.5. Normally you don't use diamond grinding wheels on high carbon steel. Normally you would use aluminium oxide. That's this type of wheel here, but they don't last very long. The only thing that I can think of is that maybe the diamond wheels don't last as long on high carbon steel, because diamond wheels are generally used for tungsten carbide, and we use CBN type wheels on high carbon steel. But I did sort of see a bit of a review where they're starting to use diamond wheels on carbon steel. It may not last as long, but they'll certainly should last much longer than aluminium oxide wheels, the little tiny ones that I just showed you there. So if anyone can sort of shed some light as to how long diamond lasts on high carbon steel compared to aluminium oxide, I'd be interested in that. A little bit of controversy about using diamond wheels on high carbon steel. Anyway, we'll open this up and we'll get back to you. Okay, so we unbox the Ozito, but before we talk about that, we'll just talk about this Stihl Quick Sharp. I purchased this Stihl Quick Sharp about 17 years ago when I brought my MS380. That was when I first started to really get into chainsaws, and I brought a file as well. And the reason I brought this, because it had the name Stihl on it and it said 12 volt, and I just thought, oh, well, this should be okay if I'm out in the field, and I can just put this on my battery and proceed to sharpen my chain up. But upon using this, I found it to be very, very fiddly. You've got these little plates here that you put on, attached to it, so that it sort of sits on top of the tooth, and a bit of a guide. Then it comes with an assortment of little wheels, and it comes with this little cool crayon, it's called. This little crayon that you rub on the wheel, and it's supposed to stop it from overheating the chain. So the motor in this is not very powerful and not very smooth, and a little bit noisy for a 12 volt motor. So it's certainly not smooth by any stretch of the imagination, and it's not very powerful. It's only about 10 watts. Checked that on my laboratory power supply, and it was drawing a current at 12.5 volts, and the current was 0.85, roughly equates to about 10 watts, 10.5 watts. So very, very, very low in wattage. You can pinch it while it's running or stop. Anyway, I thought that this product, having the name Stihl, would be really top shelf and would be fantastic for sharpening out in the field. It's not my cup of tea. Maybe it's somebody else's. I personally would never recommend this to anybody. This is one of the reasons I do these reviews, and the reason I'm going to do the review on the Ozito, because if anyone's thinking of buying one of these units there, my advice is not to. They're not the tool. They don't work as good as I thought they would. I bought it 17 years ago for about $60. The price has gone up to about, just under $100 now. You can get an Ozito small grinder, battery operated, that will work much, much better than this. So this is very low powered. Not happy with it. Yeah, there's not many still products I could say that about, but this is one of them that I'm not happy with. Do not recommend it to anybody. So anyway, we'll get on with the Ozito. Yeah, well, I unboxed the Ozito Dremel type mini chain sharpener, 12 volt. And I'll tell you what I personally think of it. Now, they claim that it's 50 watts. There's no way known that this is a 50 watt grinder. I put it on my power supply. I started it up. I proceeded to use it. It would draw a maximum of about 2 amps. So the maximum of that is 2 amps would be about 20 watts. Now, the other thing is when you apply a bit of pressure to it, you find out that it really drops off quick. It doesn't have much torque in it. It's a very, very similar to the Stihl Quick Sharp. Not a lot of torque in it. It is better than the Quick Sharp. One feature that I did like, so this is it here. You can fit this unit just by screwing it on, and it actually works much better than the Stihl one. Diamond stone seems to be okay. I did this chain here. I only did 2 teeth. It's a lot slower. It doesn't certainly heat the teeth up, but it's not the type of thing that I personally would use. Probably I shouldn't have brought it, but I did anyway. So when you want to use the guide, it's just a matter of unscrewing that off and screwing that on top, and at least it's like stops pretty much in the right position. And it's just a matter of sitting the little wing. You'll find out that if you actually look over here, that it sits on the other tooth, and you can lift it up and down, and it actually works quite good. And you've got your markings here for your 25, 30 and 35 degrees. I didn't find it as fiddly as the Stihl. I found it easier to use. I do like this operation here where that you just unwind it and put this on and just totally use it freehand. And it's got this little button here. This is a locking mechanism, and you get a little spanner with it. This is a little spanner you get. So if you want to take the change the diamond wheel, you just unloosen it, pull it out. It's so easy to pull in and out. So yeah, well, just a matter of locking that in a position, turning that, and just giving a little bit of a nip. So very, very quick. So it's certainly not fiddly. Right, so I give it a thumbs up as far as it's comfortable, it's easy to use, but it's not very powerful. If you put a little bit of side pressure on it, you can stall the motor just as easy as what you can stall the Stihl. In my opinion, the only other thing that I would say, the cord is very thin, bit flimsy. Could have been better with a higher quality round cord or something like that. So it's, yeah, that's about the only criticism I got there. Locking mechanism does work good. As I said, I'm pretty happy about this. As you can see, you got your 25, your 30 degrees and 35. So, yeah, reasonably happy with this part of it. I can't see myself in the future sharpening chains up with this. I think it's going to sit in the garage with some other tools. So, yeah, look, if you want... Now, the price of this was about $47. So that's what that cost. But if you want a really El Cheapo grinder and you want it to work good, I would recommend this grinder from Jono and Jono in Ballarat. This is their little small grinder. Reason I like this one, it's very cheaply made, but it's reasonably accurate. It's around about the $60 mark. The reason I like this one is that you can put a 4.7 millimeter wheel on it, because it doesn't. Most of these little small grinders have a 23 millimeter arbor. This has a 22.2, so you can put on 4.7 millimeter wheels on this, so highly recommended. And I think it's about 85 watts, and it would be a true 85 watts. So just again to recap, we've done the product review of the Ozito. Beside it was the Oregon. They had one, and when you hold them up, they look identical, like they come out the same factory. The Oregon one looks exactly the same as this little wing part. You'll find them on a lot of the ones out at the moment. And as I said, they've got the diamond little bits on there for the 3 different sizes. But diamond and high-speed steel, you're not supposed to use that. But in this case here, the only thing that I can think of, and someone may want to comment on that, is I personally believe that if the diamond is not suitable for high carbon steel, that would mean that they don't last as long, but they should last a lot longer than aluminium oxide grinding wheels. So I think that's the trade-off using the diamond wheels here. So I'd give it a thumbs up as far as ease of use, right? So it's certainly easy to use it. There's no question about that, but there's some people out there that maybe think that this is the tool to use. Don't know whether you can see it or not, but it left a reasonable, probably won't be able to see it. I felt that it did leave a reasonable, I'll just see if I can find there's the tooth that I just did. A little bit difficult to see. A little bit hard to see that. It certainly did sharpen it up. There's no question about that. It did sharpen it up. But I still found it a little bit time consuming compared to an electric grinder. Probably just as do it with a file just as quick. Anyway, that's my opinion. So it's a little bit better than the Still Quick Sharp, because this plate mechanism, you can use it. It's so easy. You've got to install the little plate mechanism with a screwdriver and adjust it very, very fiddly. Whereas, as I said, this little winged part here, you can rest this on the tooth behind you. And that's what it does. If you actually have a good close look at it, just see whether you can see that. We'll zoom right in there, so whether you can see that. What happens that when you go to do a tooth, so if you go and do this tooth here, we'll just zoom back out to the next level. When you go to do this tooth here, this little wing will sit on this tooth. So you can move it up and down. You can sort of sit it in there and you can move it up and down, which is actually quite good. If you're doing the gullet a little bit, you can move it down a little bit. So I like that way that the little wing sits on the tooth behind and you can pivot it up and down. So yeah, that really appeals to me. And it would have been good if Still adopted something similar to that. Now, that is adjustable, because at the back, if you have a look, there's a little screw here, and you can move that up and down. So what you can do, if you were doing this if you were doing this one here, you'll find out that this part here can rest in the gullet, but I find it better that if I've got a bit of free movement and I can move it up and down in the position that I want to grind, rather than it resting on something. It even tends to rest on the raker a little bit, so yeah. Anyway, that's a review for the Ozito. It is a little bit better than the Still Quick Sharp, in my opinion. It's not the type of product that I'm going to be using every day to sharpen my chains. I'll use my Still USG grinder or all my other grinders that I've got. But it was still worth doing a review. As I said, it's up to you whether you want to go out and purchase one. It is not a game changer. Even though it's got a diamond wheel, the diamond wheel is so small that it doesn't grind off the tooth super fast by any stretch of the imagination. Still very slow. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.